YouTube? It's Brian Phillips. Check it out. We've got all new from Durafly, the Tundra PX. We're gonna fly for you today on a special high volt pack, which is called a Tundra Bolt X. High voltage, that's a 750 milliamp hour pack. It does come with a different battery if you order it with the battery, and we have a flight of that too. Not sure if there's gonna be a second one tonight, but this is 0.85 amps or 850 milliamps. And we were getting a pretty good amount of flight time, but we're gonna share it with you right now. I have this set for 5 minutes with the voltage alarm set to 3.3 volts to alarm. Not sure how that works on the high volt packs, but let's go ahead and do it. All right, full takeoff flaps, landing flaps here. We'll do a little stall takeoff. Holy cow. So as you can see, this is a profile plane. And yes, you can do anything you want basically, especially when you're talking about on par with other profile planes. And as you can see, that high volt pack just gives you tons of power. And if you're anything like Brian Phillips RC, you're not a very good 3D performer, but at least you can see that the plane can do it. Woo! Did you hear that?
Yes.
I don't know if it freaked out because of the voltage or because my prop is loose, so I'm gonna just give it a little bit of juice here, and we will land it right at our feet. Full landing flaps. There it is. All right, so throttle cuts on. Guys, if you ever have a prop come loose, it's a good idea to land.
Yeah.
I've been told. But that's not loose. Okay, so was that the landing gear?
I don't know.
We just heard a weird loud noise, so let's do some grass hops for you. Here we go, takeoff flaps are turned on. Let's drag it out, make it look real. Just like this.
Totally.
Absolutely believable.
Yes, that's how I always fly.
Guys, I could do a simulated crash from when we crashed the Grand Tundra. Let's do that. Guys, look how amazingly perfect the 3D performance is. It's not always just a hammerhead, but that's what I do. That's about my extent of hammerheadage. Yes, we have been to Jonal. Yes, we have seen guys that do crazy, actual good 3D. I'm just not one of those humans. That's not to say that I can't do some maneuvers. Oh, my battery's dead. Crash. That's the simulated crash. If you guys haven't seen the Grand
I forgot
Tundra
about that.
V2. Yeah, I crashed it right at the end of the flight. It was super annoying for me because then we had to get the stick of shame, and I think we included that as well.
We did at the end, yes.
Because it was kind of a fun one. And when I say fun, I mean huge pain in the butt. Okay, we don't often land on the roof. Should we land on the roof?
Oh geez, I knew you were just thinking that.
I was thinking of it the other video. It was just so dang cold. I didn't want to get stuck up there.
You were just talking about getting the stick of shame down.
Yeah?
Where are you gonna land?
I don't know. I was just gonna land in like the perfect spot.
Oh, okay.
Think you should land up there?
Well, that'd probably be the perfect spot.
Okay. So you want me to land on the top of the active dormer?
I mean, I don't really want you to do that.
You don't want me to do that?
You're
Why?
going to do that.
I was on the wrong side of the house, guys. Depth percepciones, guys.
Yeah.
All I've got to say is there's solar panels on the other side. Look at that one little wispy cloud right there.
Weird.
Let's go hang out with it. Am I lined up with it pretty good? Okay, here we go. It's so crazy. You just have so much performance out of this little package. And I gotta say, the build was actually quite easy. We were a little bit nervous that it was gonna be a giganto pain in the butt, but it actually wasn't bad at all. They kind of talked it up in a manual that we got ahead of time, which we like never get manuals ahead of time, or rarely get manuals ahead of time from anybody. But they gave us this one for once.
Rarely do you read them.
Even rarer, rarer, folks. It's just, you know, there's tons of elevator throw and you have to install the elevator in such a way that you have to get the rod to actually have, not a clevis, but the linkage. What am I trying to say? Not the
Control
linkage,
horn.
the control horn. And that's one of the things that you have to do on this plane, which is a little bit unusual. Comes in a pretty small box. And I think we're 1,050 millimeter on the wingspan, but look how long the plane is. It's like pretty much long as it is. It's as long as it is wide. Actually, I think it's narrower than it is long, which is also a little bit unusual. And ironic because the C-130 was the last plane we did, and the C-130 is super short compared to the 1600 millimeter wingspan. Just trying to take the local route around the flagpole. Here, let's do it again, except we'll go this way. I don't do a lot of crazy 3D performance just because it's not my thing, but that doesn't mean I don't get a kick out of these profile planes just being really fun to fly. They are fun, especially when there's low consequence. See, the thing is, sometimes we fly like really expensive and complex 3D planes, and the consequence factor is so high that it sort of zaps the fun out of doing things like this, where you have no care in the world. It's like you don't care. You got plenty of time to respond. Look at that beautiful blue sky, by the way. All the different colors. It's gorgeous, guys. We're just about ready to fall into spring here. Oh, look, big brother up there. See him?
Oh, way up there.
See him?
Yep.
That's so cool. Let's go up here and hang out. What's up, dude? How you doing, brother? How you doing? How you doing? So there's so many fun things you can do, and it's really easy. So if you guys are looking for a fun plane, you know, Erratics-esque or Foresight-esque, I feel like this plane does the trick, except it's just a little bit lower consequence because the foam they used is so soft. It also makes for a little bit uglier foam, admittedly, but I don't think it looks bad. It just looks like a different plane.
Especially not from here.
Because it's not a foam board.
Right.
This is more of like a foam that is painted. And yeah, it passes the 3 or 4 foot rule, I would say.
Yeah.
If not, you know, the 10-foot rule. And it's really, really not hard to fly. I think the ugliest part of it is the voltage alarm hanging off the side. Which, by the way, you can also sport fly this. It's just really, really easy. And I like to fly it with a little bit extra expo. I go from 10 with 100% rates, which is what I'm flying on right now, to 20 with 90% rates. I'll give you a circuit like that. Then it flies so much more like a sport plane, and it's just super easy going. I will admittedly tell you this, I do not think anybody needs the high volt pack on this plane, because the regular voltage pack is flawless, if you ask me. So whatever it comes with, it's fine. But guys, just in the sport performance, I'm moving the sticks a little bit further, but you can see I'm barely moving the sticks, you know? It just doesn't take much. Oh, by the way, we set ours up with safe. That's safe, okay? So as you can see, we have limits on the angles and all that. But watch this, guys. Okay, landing flaps now, watch this. With safe on, it's just so easy to fly. And I've got my lower rates on. If you were a beginner and you wanted to try to do this, I mean, you could totally do this. She's just flying along. Oh, there's the ground. I guess I got to give it a little more throttle so I can take back off, mother. There it is. I'm serious, like, it's so easy. And it's like, I don't want to say it's like, indestructible, like those 400 millimeter warbirds that we've all come to enjoy from Volantex or anything like that. I think you could still break it if you tried hard enough. But with safe on, it's just so easy. And guys, look at the flaps. The flaps are like not even all the way down. You can go way more. And then even in safe, okay, so this isn't safe. I limited us to that up, that down, that up, and then I'm gonna give you guys a roll here, okay? So this is the limitations on the roll and the limitations on the roll. And see how fast it snaps back? Ooh, we've got a voltage alarm. Okay. So now I'm not worried because we're gonna be totally fine. Okay, I'm out of safe. Takeoff flaps now. I'll just fly it right back to our feet. Because when you have a high volt pack, you gotta remember 3.3 volts is still 3.3 volts. Your power system is still gonna be energized. You got tons of power. Look at this, 3 minutes 44 past 5. So that's about 8.5 minutes of solid flight time. That's not bad. We were barely on the ground. Now, we did fly 2 packs before, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and show you loading the other pack this time. And I'm not sure if we're gonna show all 4 flights. I kind of doubt we will. It kind of depends on which one shows better.
Yeah.
But as you can see, this is the battery that comes with the plane. I'm gonna show swapping it out now. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, we've got new mics on. So if you guys notice any audio issues that you're not happy with, let us know. I'm not saying we're gonna change anything about it, but it will be good feedback for us. We don't always watch 100% of the videos after we've produced content, but we do hear feedback from you. So let us know if there's an issue. You can see right now we're at 3.34, 3.45, 3.41, and 3.52. So not very well balanced, but I don't care because it gave me the power when I need it. And you guys see what I did? I just stuffed my balance lead right underneath. You could also put a strap through there, okay? So we noticed that weird kind of like, I call it a motor fart at the beginning. I thought the prop was loose, like maybe the nut had backed off. There was no such thing. So we're gonna go ahead and load this and see if we have a clean flight.
Okay.
Also, this got glued just a little bit further back than it should have been. I think it should have been up here a little bit if you want to try to hit the factory CG, which is between this and this. So if you guys don't have it marked, you can just go from this and then go back just about a, you know, like a finger width or so, 10 millimeters to be specific. But you see this one here, it's harder to bring the leads under as I set it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my battery lead for the discharge lead right under there to give a little bit more support. And then I'm going to slide the ESC back under, and then watch this, how easy this is, okay? So I'm gonna plug this in, and then I'm gonna make sure that obviously we double, triple check, sticks down, throttle cuts on, so it should be safe. And then you can see that this would be allowed to come all the way up and touch. Shut my flaps back off, by the way. And so as a result, we'll go ahead and plug this in. If you guys don't know, this is a FMS branded one, but you can get a dime dozen. Go to brianphillipsrc.com/supplies, and you can get whatever you want there, or bprc.me/supplies, same place, same information, short link, okay? Or just check out the links in the video description below. You see what I did there? I just lazily made that stick into the foam. So like I said, the foam on this model, oh, by the way, one other thing, just in case I forget to say it, I said it in the first flight, but just in case we don't show that part of the video, these I overlapped. It worked really nice. You don't have to do that. And yes, I used China glue to glue my wing on, and it has worked perfectly, flawlessly. Yep. I didn't use foam safe CA, and I didn't have anything melt. So timer is set to 5 minutes, but we should get closer to 11 or 12 minutes on this flight. This is a little bit bigger pack than the one we were just flying on, but it's not high volt. So it's actually a little bit less voltage, the one we're flying on, because it's a standard Lipo. But we still want it to alarm at 3.3 volts. Okay, so throttle cuts off. Here we go. I'm still kind of in the sport flying mode here. And when I say sport flying mode, you can still do this, even with the Expo. It's absolutely no problem. That was about 30–40% throttle, guys.
Your voltage alarm came loose.
It did?
It's not stuck into the foam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I mean, if you care.
Oh, it's just flopped off to the side? Okay. It's hanging all over the place.
If you hear a crunching sound, then we'll know what it is.
I was just gonna say, we don't hardly ever have a problem with those popping out.
No.
Especially on profile planes. It's not like we're doing blazing fast speeds. But guys, even with this battery, absolutely no problem. Doing hammerheads and all that, it's like 50% throttle. There's 100%. I mean, you see, got like unlimited vertical, guys. So I'm not sure if this would be the model to pick to showcase the high volt pack, because I just don't think you need it at all. Right. Which is ironic, because we had a high volt pack on the Grand Tundra that we did when we did the Grand Tundra 2.
Grand Tundra 2, yeah.
Yeah. The one I crashed into the tree. Yeah. The one we did that reenactment on. Okay, so we're just gonna try this one more time. I think I got it last, my first flight. Had pretty good luck. Maybe it just didn't stay in very good.
Just needed more penetration.
Yeah, we just, guys, I can't tell you enough. If you don't have deep penetration, just go back and try again. Man, it just doesn't want to go in there.
No, it doesn't.
That's some hard foam.
You must have hit a sweet spot last time.
Yeah, maybe I did. Here, I'll just try it like this. Okay, there we go.
There,
let's see how that works. Okay. So guys, on all new models, I always like to get good deep penetration.
Do weird, yeah.
All right, so take off flaps now, landing flaps. Let's do some stall performance again. As you can see, there's absolutely no problem You're not gonna have any issues with STOL on this plane. It just does exactly what you want it to. And that's part of the reason why I really enjoy and appreciate this plane. It's fun to fly, it's of low consequence. And so if you are anything like me, you don't do a ton of 3D, but you wanna have the ability to do some 3D once in a while. This profile plane is really fun. It's gonna give you the antics you want without all the heart attacks that go along with a more expensive model. And I think we actually have a pretty expensive one coming down the pike. At least for us, it's new. But this thing is very economical, and it's gonna give you all the fun that you want, and you could stop on a dime and fly it like you stole it, which is always fun. Especially if you guys are just getting back into the hobby. Here on Brian Phillips RC, we're gonna walk you through every step by tedious step on the unbox build radio setups. And that's gonna get you in the chair and out of the air by listening to our full truth, nothing but the truth. So help us God reviews as we fly, crash, and otherwise enjoy these amazing RC products on Brian Phillips RC. So we really appreciate you being here with us. If you like the content you see here, there's literally thousands more videos just like this on BrianPhillipsRC.com, or at least it's organized in such a way so you can find easily what you're looking for, because there's so much content, we can't really keep it straight either, and we filmed it.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you guys are looking for something in particular, head over to BrianPhillipsRC.com or BPRC.me, and you can check out all of our organization, which is sorted by affiliates, which is like our partners that we're working with on a particular product, as well as type. So like this would be a profile plane, but would this be like a 3D plane as well?
Yeah, or sport.
Sport. Yep, there you go, sport. And it's not a general aviation plane, even though it kind of would be in that area as well. Be like a backcountry plane.
Yeah.
Kind of like timber-esque.
I don't think we have a specific like profile plane category, just because we don't have that many of them.
Yeah, but we could.
We could.
And that's the thing, guys. We're always growing, always expanding, always trying to do the right thing for our audience here on Brian Phillips RC, because we really do love the hobby. And if you guys didn't notice, we have the main runway, which I'm just gonna fly down. This is kind of the main runway. It's about now 300 feet long to about the turn there at the end. And then we added 85 feet going this way at this intersection here. Okay, so it's our 5-minute timer. So that is the end of the 300 feet by about 11 at the narrowest, maybe 14 or 15 at the widest. And then over here, we have the dam runway, which is about to be extended. Right here, we have the start of it, and just flying down the dam runway. You see it stops being paved at the intersection there. And that goes across the dam on the pond that we built a couple years back. And that's where it's gonna end. So that's about 600 by 12. And then the apron, of course, will be finished over the top or around the dam gift shop, which is over here. Just, of course, a play on words, but that is gonna be the dam gift shop over there. You guys get to enjoy that with us as you watch Brian Phillips RC creating what we're calling this aerodrome. If you guys don't know what an aerodrome was, I didn't know what an aerodrome was just as soon as maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't know what that was. In fact, when did I learn what an aerodrome is? Is that when we started looking into Joe Knoll?
Well, it's probably before that, but I think that was obviously the first time we saw something in person.
And we're
like,
oh, that's what we're building.
Do.
No, well, I mean, we were already doing it. We just didn't know it had a name.
Right.
So, and if you guys don't know what an aerodrome is, it's basically like an airport, if you want to call it that. But in our case, we've got 24 acres here, in the airport operations, if you even want to call it that, would fall into about 6 or 7 acres. But not all of it is airport ops. It's just kind of like the outline of it, if you were to draw a line around it, of the 24 acres. A lot of the 24 acres is going to include our farm fields and all sorts of wooded areas. And we actually do actively farm this property too. So it is a USDA farm. It's actually 2 of them. So if you guys think Brian Phillips is just about RC, then you probably would not know that I'm actually involved in more than one thing. I know it's hard to believe. But guys, this plane is just really fun to fly. And so we love being able to showcase these things for you here on Brian Phillips RC. Been doing this for about 11 years now with my wonderful, beautiful wife named Megan. She has a name.
I do.
We call her the camera crew generally because she is the play on words. The jokes are always flowing here on Brian Phillips RC. And one of the biggest jokes is that it is not a crew. It is one person.
Yep.
And then the other person is me. You've seen me on camera before. She doesn't like to be on camera, but she has been on camera. No, I'm not stopping her from being on camera. Nope. Are you insane? I don't stop my wife from doing things.
Quite the opposite.
That is, you see all these burial plots around? You see all them? There's literally a cemetery in the background. If I tried to stop my wife from doing something she wanted, you know where I would end up. But at the end of the day, she is an advisor, a confidant, a good friend, and of course, the camera crew. I didn't even know when we took our vows just how important it was going to be that she knew how to hold and maintain a camera.
Yeah,
in fact,
skip that part.
Neither of us did. If we ever do one of those like renewal of vows, I should put that in there.
Yeah.
Guys, this plane is really fun. I'm going to totally whack off that thing.
I know you are.
Because you can see it dangling.
Yeah.
You know? Speaking of have somebody to hold your hand, shouldn't really be whacking it off.
I was going to say.
On Brian Phillips RC, because that would ruin my afternoon, that voltage alarm. Did you see I almost slipped and stalled there?
I thought you were talking about whacking off the post.
Oh. I'm going to say, camera crew, behave. I'm just trying to keep that thing dangling and hanging down.
I know.
Until it dies. It's like it just keeps giving. Because it is one of our better voltage alarms. You see it?
Yeah.
See, guys, what I'm talking about? It's just dangling.
It's been there like the whole time that way.
I guess my penetration was not deep enough.
Nope.
So, guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, we show you the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And that includes sometimes showing the lingering aspects of a flight, AKA, how long is it going to be? How hard is it to build? Is it fun to build? Did I hate the process building it? Did my wife and I enjoy the process of building it? These are all the lingering questions that you have before you purchase a plane.
They could just leave their wife out of it and then they wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, where's the fun in that? Full landing flaps here. We'll slow it down a little bit. Look at the deflection, so much fun. And I still have, I think I'm at like 60% there. Again, watch the unbox build radio setup on this plane. You can see exactly what we had to do to put it together. Really well behaved in pretty much any flap configurations. We did take out the Y cable. There is an included Y cable, so you don't have to set up flaperons. But I would definitely highly recommend it. There are some planes that flaperons just don't do it. And this thing, given that it's got a full length aileron or a nearly full length aileron, you see there's that little bit of inboard chunk that's kind of missing where the fuse would be. You get pretty good performance, and you do have to set the elevator correction down. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're in the right place. Brian Phillips RC is going to show you exactly what that means. Takeoff flaps now. And you'll notice as soon as I come out of the takeoff flaps, it's going to want to go even faster with same throttle, about 30 to 40% throttle, just cruising along. And as you can see, we're getting just a phenomenal amount of flight time. We're 5 minutes 57 over 5, folks. So that's 11 minutes of flight time, okay? That's 65% throttle, maybe 70 for just a kiss. And you've got just tons of power. You can sit there and hammerhead on a dead battery or near dead battery. You can see the voltage alarm hanging. I don't hear any griping. Haven't heard even one chime or alert, which will happen at 3.3 volts. There it goes. So let's land it. We'll bring it right to our feet. Full landing flaps. Look at that thing float up and balloon on us. Beautiful. Okay. So you can see 3.34 volts. All is at 13.4 volts. And we are at 6 minutes and 41 plus 5. So almost 13, or excuse me, that'd be 11.
Almost 12.
Almost 12 minutes of flight time. And it's still relatively cold out here.
Yeah.
Looks like cell 1 is at 3.16, 3.39, 3.57, and then 3.37, okay? So, worse balance than the other one.
Yeah.
That being said, I have never really been off-put about cells that are just a little bit out of balance when I discharge them. I do care a little bit more on the charge side of things because it's always a pain for your chargers to try to balance them if you can't bring them up to that 4.2 volts, or in this case, whatever the high volt packs go to. I don't remember what that is. Yeah. So they go up to 15.2 volts as the nominal voltage. So that's what it's going to be when it's just chilling. But these 4S packs were both great. The 750 Bolt X was fine. XT30, by the way, as opposed to an XT60 or an XT90. So it is a smaller version. Now, just so you know, those aren't compatible with IC2 connectors because the IC2 connectors are a little bit wider and they do have the data line in the center. So you cannot connect these together, but it's not going to matter because the XT30 on the plane is going to need to receive an XT30. So if you haven't already built yourself an adapter, if you have a lot of IC2 connectors, then you're going to have an IC2 receptacle that goes out to an XT30 so that you can use your smart batteries. If you have smart batteries you want to use, okay? So what have we learned about this plane? First of all, it's just easy as get. You can store it in your car, super easy. You get in the truck, super easy. You don't have to worry about having trouble getting this thing around. It's also very easy to move around. You don't have to worry about damaging it. It also has no lights, but that's pretty common on profile planes. We have not seen one that does have lights. It still would be nice around this time of night where you've got that, 15, 20 minutes of civil twilight at this time of year. But during summertime, you might have 45 minutes to an hour of this twilight time. And we live it up. I mean, that's when we do the vast majority of our flying. Mm-hmm. That being said, I usually don't fly a lot of 3D stuff in low light conditions, okay? Because I'm not crazy like those guys at Knoll that fly for 20 hours a day. Absolutely wonderful performance. Really fun, really well done, super easy build. Seemed like it was gonna be a pain, but the elevator was really not too bad at all. No. I griped a lot about it. Mm-hmm. But honestly, it was unwarranted because I think it took us all of maybe 30 minutes of real work to build this. Now our videos, of course, are, 30 minutes times the factor called Brian Phillips RC equals a lot longer. But you could have this thing put together in, 25, 30 minutes if you were really, if you had a second set of hands to help you with some of the steps, mm-hmm. Okay? But really easy to build, really well done. Durafly has been pumping out good choices, and we are really excited about that.
Yeah.
Used to be when you got a Hobby King plane, you were getting a subpar performer and you knew it. But you knew that it was going to be okay if you spent a little bit of time and just kind of injected a little bit of life and effort to it. Okay? So while Dynamis pretty much kept doing that, or worse, Hobby King has just fallen straight out of that position into the open the box, enjoy the plane as it is. Now, there's a little bit more work sometimes involved in a few of the Hobby King products that we've seen. But I'm thinking back to the Spitfire. It's an older design. Mm-hmm. That was a pretty terrible build. That took forever. But beautiful flying plane once it was done. Okay, very. Absolutely gorgeous plane. Same thing, Catalina. Went together super easy. Had to glue the tail and it was kind of weird. Triangular shape, wanted to kind of like fall off. We could resolve that by letting the glue set up a little bit more and then sticking it together, but then it would have been hard to stick together. Thinking back to the C-130, I thought it was going to be terrible. It was actually very easy. It was one of our easier builds recently. Mm-hmm. And it's 4 engines, which is very unusual. So what else? We did
the extra NG.
The extra NG was that build easy?
Yeah, we had a servo
That's right. It was otherwise super easy, but we had a dead on arrival servo, which we did get resolved. And interestingly enough, we used a Spectrum servo and it was exactly the same amount of throw. Yep. And it worked even though it was like smaller. There was some weirdity about it.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the same size.
But absolutely wonderful flying plane and huge, 1,600 millimeters, which by the way, that plane is about twice as big as a C-130. And it's the same wingspan. It's huge. It's huge.
It's huge.
So when you start getting into big planes are a lot bigger than small planes that have big wingspans, okay? We'll help you to distinguish those difficult to distinguish factors on Brian Phillips RC, because at the end of the day, there are many, many ways you could spend your RC dollars. We want to help you guys get the most out of them, okay? So if you're here trying to decide if this Tundra PX or the TPX, if you want to call it that, is worth chasing, I would say, yeah, it's really fun. If you like profile planes, you'll really enjoy this. That being said, if you're not a fan of profile planes, I don't know why you would buy a profile plane. I would not buy this because it is firmly in the profile plane performance. That's the way profile planes fly. Is this lighter on its feet than the couple of competitive offerings like the Foresight and the Erratics?
Yep.
I would say yeah. And it's also a little bit more forgiving because it's not got the foam board that is easy to kind of break. Now, that's not to take anything away from those planes. They're very good. They've got better technology crammed into them. So you do get thrust reverse built in, which is nice. You get a little bit more robust servos, a little bit more robust ESC. But this thing is cheaper. And it's also really well done. So I would say highly appreciate what Durafly is doing here. This is a great product. Dollars to donuts. I think it's going to be a good value for the person that wants a profile plane. Now, that being said, if you look down the profile of this and you say, what the fugly is that? I mean, I kind of get it. I'm with you. Profile planes can be butt ugly, okay? But if you look at it from the right angle, it still kind of looks like a plane. The key is they're really fun to fly, okay? So if you're looking for a scale performing plane that's like a backcountry, amazing performance, get a Grand Tundra. They are awesome. They are really fun and they are really well done. And they're also cost competitive compared to some of the competitive offerings. You're gonna still have a little bit tied up in that plane. This is a 6S platform, but absolutely, it is a 6S, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shoot, now that I said that out loud, maybe it is a 4S. If I said that wrong, guys, don't hold me to it. We have videos about it. Check out brianphillipsrc.com or bprc.me. You can sort by type and find it. And then you can watch the entire playlist we have, which I think it's just an unbox and a maiden flight for that.
Yeah.
And that being said, if you guys are not brand new to Brian Phillips RC and you've been here for years with us, thanks for supporting us over the years. We really appreciate you being here, watching us install hundreds of servos and hundreds of receivers and setting up forward programming and safe and AS3X and all the different crappy, copycats that don't quite work as good and watching things fly off and crash in a million pieces and coyotes.
Yep.
Hope you guys could hear it. Test new mics. Okay. They're going to town over there. Something's going on. So we really appreciate you being here with us because I love doing this. My wife tolerates me doing it. And so we really appreciate you supporting us because every time you watch a video here, you're showing that you're really loyal to the RC audience, okay? You're really loyal to the RC hobby because we're not just here trying to make a buck. Not that it would matter because it's gone, believe me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we really are living this dream because you're here watching, okay? So if you weren't here, we'd be living the dream. It would just be way, 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 way more spread out. And so we appreciate that. Thanks for being there. If you want to support us by buying this particular plane because you think it'd be a good fit for you, then check out the links in the video description below. We'll show you exactly how to buy it. When you follow the link, they'll know we sent you there. We'll get a small commission as a pat on the back from the manufacturer, which helps us to fund these things that we're doing over here and all the crazy RC shenanigans you see us doing on Brian Phillips RC. So thank you for doing that. We'll also link to the two different batteries that we showed here, the Nanotech as well as the Bulltex Turn-G pack. Both are fine. I will tell you this from my personal experience with batteries. Batteries tend to have about a 3 or 4 year shelf life, no matter how expensive they are, no matter how crappy they are. If they're crappy, you'll probably be a little bit shorter than that, but like, honestly, if you're not getting 3 years out of a battery, they're really garbage, or you're really hard on them, which a lot of people are hard on them. So just remember, if you want the most out of your batteries, 4 or 5 years on the very top end. But 3 or 4 years, you should be able to get good life. So when you're considering batteries that are specific to a plane, I would highly encourage you to consider getting the right pack and get a couple of them when you do order this plane, because it is a really good fit. If you try to plop a 2200 in here, it's gonna fly like garbage, okay? I'm just telling you that right now. You need to know. If you try to put 1,000 in there, it might be okay, but it's gonna be doggy. If you try to fly it on a 500, you're probably gonna be tail heavy. And I don't know if it's gonna do okay, but you could probably get away with it. Also, I think it would have been nice if they would have thrown a strap in to go here to just hold that battery, but then you'd be probably a little bit nose heavy, okay? That's why I put Velcro on both of these batteries. Very unusual for Brian Phillips RC, okay? So, other ways to support us. YouTube members. If you want to be a monthly member, thanks. Check that out. There's also super thanks for one-time donations or PayPal for one-time donations. Or if you like monthly support and you don't want to be on YouTube doing that, we totally get it. You can do Patreon. So we really appreciate you guys. There's quite a few of you on Patreon and quite a few of you that are members on YouTube.
Yep.
So thank you guys for being ordinary, regular supporters. We really do appreciate it. And it all gets funneled back into the RC habit and addiction so that we can put out better and better content. Bigger and better content, I should say. So as we expand and grow, we want to thank you guys for being there time and time again. Also, smash the like button. You know, we get creamed on the algorithm because we have such long content. Always will. I'm not going to give that up for a little bit faster growth, a bunch of empty growth. I want real people that are really doing this. We want to encourage you to do it. We want to encourage your friends to do it, your family to do it. We want to get them into the sport. And that means we're going to have more details than the average Joe needs. It's totally fine. That's why we make shorts, okay? So if you do like the content, you think you could get something out of it, smash the bell, get notified when you do subscribe. We'll appreciate you being around for the next one, which is right around the corner on Brian Phillips RC. So thanks for watching, guys. Come back for more.